Unity Church of Tidewater, the modern home of practical Christianity, presents another dynamic, timeless, relevant, and inspirational message by Reverend Joyce Kramer. May you be inspired, and now, Reverend Joyce Kramer.
Hello, friend. This is your Unity minister speaking today on What's the World Coming to? What's the world coming to? What is really going to happen in our world? Many people are asking questions, for they are concerned. There does not seem to be any simple answer. Look about you, listen to the news broadcast, and let the concerns grow greater. No matter what the promises of any politician, no one person is going to be able to do everything that needs to be done. Not only that, we're not even sure of what needs to be done. Become observant, and you will see irrational actions of people, locally, nationally, and internationally. We observe much carelessness regarding environment, human life, and property. We live in an economy that defies all the laws of logic and reason. It is just not at all sensible. Foreign affairs seem to be something that we really don't know how to handle. Sickness and disease are rampant, even though we believe we have advanced medical technology and know-how. What is the world coming to? I certainly don't know, nor do I know of anyone who does. The direction we are heading in various areas is a matter of concern. So ask yourself, what is your responsibility in the world, or do you have any? Is everything in the hands of politicians, leaders, experts, or do we have something to do with it? There are many problems to be faced. There are problems of justice, problems of work, problems of human relationships. There are problems of human rights, problems of human responsibility. There are problems in economic and financial affairs. There are problems of morality, honesty, and integrity. All of these affect each of us individually. They affect our country and our world collectively. There is much disorder in the world today. How do you think it came about? Perhaps the ancient prophet had a right understanding when he said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." You would think that if we had known differently, we would not have let things get to the confused state of today. Man, created in the image of God with dominion and authority, has made the world what it is today. It is the working of the collective consciousness of human beings, many of whom have little or no understanding of God or God's laws. We each have a responsibility for the way things are right now. The consciousness of the masses of people in our country or in any country outpicture. Other conditions have not only resulted from man's past actions, but from the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, and reactions of humanity through many, many years. Now, what do we do? How can we improve the world? How can you make things better for you and for all others? Certainly it has been proved that this cannot be done through force. St. Justice, in his ardent desire for universal peace, happiness, and justice, sent thousands to the scaffold. Wars do not make peace. Sickness does not eliminate disease. Lack and seeking to cover up for lack, as we do in many giveaway programs, does not overcome poverty conditions. How long will it take us to learn? We are created as thinking beings, created by nature. Yet now much original thought does each one of us each day do in a day's time. We tend to reflect what others around us are thinking, or mirror the general world way of thought. Original thought would allow us to look objectively at our world, at its good points, at its bad points, not with the idea of condemnation, but with the idea of seeing areas in which we can bring about needed improvement. This will undoubtedly lead us to the next step, which is the spiritual. Many believe that we are experiencing a climax of disorder, perpetuated because we have left God completely out. Just to give a bit of insight, how much time have you personally given to develop the spiritual aspect of your nature this week? How much time have you spent studying and seeking to grow in spiritual understanding? Have you given any attention to the thought that the Spirit of God is within you, that you live and move and have your being in God? How much time have you spent this past week looking beyond the appearance of things in order to comprehend and understand their deeper meaning? Things, people, events, and conditions in our world need to be thought about. As thinking beings, we ought to be doing this. As thinking men and women, we need to add the spiritual element, including God, into our daily life, in our thoughts, our feelings, our words, and our actions. Have you allowed yourself to be indifferent about the spiritual, or either ignorant of its existence? Are you careful with your thought life and careful with the feelings that you entertain? Indifference toward the spiritual leads to carelessness with ourselves, and thus we show remarkably little self-control. What is the world coming to? Much is going to depend on whether or not people begin to give attention to God and the spiritual aspect of life. It is the nature of life that man grows and evolves. It is the nature of life that man becomes ever more conscious of the presence and power of God. As his understanding grows, life is upgraded and improved in various aspects. In our day, a great deal of emphasis is given to the idea of freedom. Certainly this is a wonderful ideal. Yet our greatest freedom is not realized until we understand that it includes freedom to express the Spirit of God that is within us. By freely expressing God's Spirit, we add good to our life and good to the world. Few people have had the freedom that is needed. Freedom from lack and limitation, freedom from pain and suffering, and even freedom from unhappiness. The reason is that no one can truly legislate freedom. Freedom is not your right, it is your responsibility. So long as we need to have others do for us, we are not really free. We sometimes carry the idea of freedom to the extreme. Personal freedom that interferes with the rights of others is not really freedom. If we take that kind of freedom without caring about other people, our world will continue to be involved with severe problems. We take great pride today in our freedom of speech, yet we allow the minds of many young people to be poisoned by crude, vulgar language. This is much more disastrous than it appears, even though that's not a well-known fact. Words stir energy and bring about in one's life that which is spoken into expression. Is it really freedom to impose on others the instruments through which they destroy themselves? Does freedom mean that people are free to live at their worst? Thus is the spiritual and moral fiber of our country undermined. Are you aware of your obligations to the world as a human being? You have the responsibility to live well in accordance with the laws of God and to guide others in that direction. Our scriptures tell us that 10 righteous men can save a city. This shows the power of those who align themselves with God. Some years ago, some explosive situations were kept under control through a group of powerful individuals who prayed together diligently. They had decided that their spiritual energy, joined together of one accord, could save an area of the country from the malicious, violent rioting that took place in many other cities, and it did. Look at the power that has been given to one person on the matter of prayer in school. One angry, distressed individual, Madeline O'Hara, caused a heyday. Gradually her power has subsided, even though we are still responding to her desires and other ridiculous moves that have been made. Interestingly enough, these happened under the guise of freedom. All you need to do is to get people stirred up is by proclaiming human rights. As we have been accused, we become the nation of sheep and go along with judging strictly by emotion without giving intelligent thought to the reasons in back of such protest. All you have to do is sufficiently convince the masses that you are out to assure their rights, and you will immediately gain thousands of followers. There is something within that seems to drive us back to the need for the dependency that we had when children. How many groups yet today, some of them unions, discourage individuals' initiative? Let us assure you of your rights, they promise. Thus the individual is quietly controlled, and initiative is destroyed for a high price. Whenever your initiative is turned over to a group of people or to an individual, you give up your responsibility for handling yourself as a mature adult. You have turned over the government of your life to someone else. That's freedom? Don't believe it. Yet, so long as you want to be a taker in life, you will likely fall right into that pattern. How many people have given up their free choice in religion? They believe only what someone tells them to believe. They don't challenge, they do not question. They buy into a brand of beliefs, demand no proof, getting no assurance other than if they believe rightly they'll be going to heaven when they die. Man's non-thought about his God and his personal relationship to God keeps him dependent on others to tell him what to believe. Have you found the teachings of Jesus the Christ to be adaptable to your life here and now? Has his life inspired you to live a more powerful, dynamic life? If not, it is likely that you are still believing what you have been told and have not bothered to find out for yourself. The teachings of Jesus are completely adaptable to life. These teachings will help anyone build the foundation for a powerful, effective life. His life and teachings show us the way to a personal relationship with our Father God. They will assist you not only in uplifting your own life, but the world awareness as well. So think of it. What is the world coming to? The answer to this question is dependent on whether or not we allow the Spirit of truth to triumph over our usual materialistic ways of thinking and feeling and living. Your personal life will help to make the world a better place in which to live. When you spend attention on the spiritual aspects of life, you will become much more concerned about responsible action than crying out for freedom and your rights. Your rights are always assured when you take them and quit looking to someone else to do it for you. Responsible living will take precedence over pleasure-seeking. Personal initiative will rule over dependencies. Honesty will triumph over lies, love over hatred, goodness over evil, sincerity over deceit. Once an individual is right with God and his spiritual nature, he takes on a new energy, strength, and vitality. He overcomes lethargy, laziness, and deadness of life. Dynamic action characterizes a God-filled person. The God-inspired person sees a vision for himself and his world and follows it wherever it leads him. He doesn't stop to count the cost. He just follows it regardless. His life helps to awaken the Spirit of the living God in other people. He is able to move alone and stand alone if need be. As he is charged with the power of the Spirit, he emerges victoriously from old habits of life. He maintains inner strength of character. He becomes clear-sighted and bold, doing what he ought to do. Your freedom in God gives you the individual responsibility for your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions. In this way, you can give of your best to the world. The world reflects back to us what we put into it. Someone says the world will do to you what you do to the world. Give of your best to the world today, and the world will give of its best to you. Give thought and attention as well as prayer to the following questions. What is the world coming to? What is my world coming to? Realize that each of us has a great responsibility to do what we can with the answer to those questions.
We hope that you have enjoyed this inspirational message on practical Christianity from Unity Church of Tidewater, 5580 Shell Road, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23455. Our services begin at 11 a.m. every Sunday, or, if it is more convenient, please visit our website at www.unity.org www.unitychurchoftidewater.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.